Welcome to Start Lines and Swag Bags, presented by the Flying Pig Project. The use of this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be considered as running or health advice. This podcast is not intended to replace any professional medical advice. Thank you for your support.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday episode of Start Lines and Swag Bags. I'm going to start right off and tell you this is not the episode that was originally planned for this week. I'll be doing the next race elimination next week. Boy, I say a lot. I've had some people tell me in the past couple weeks that one of the reasons they are enjoying my show is because of kind of like who I am and that my personality or how it comes across. I don't know. I don't feel like my personality is any different than when you see me in person. So there's that. And as many people do, I constantly use humor as my main defense mechanism when talking about challenging topics. And today I'm going to get a little personal with what I'm sharing in today's episode. So you're probably going to see that defense mechanism or hear that defense mechanism come through. I am literally doing this in one take. I'm already fumbling my words, but this is going to be a single take. Just hang on for the ride. So some of you may remember last week I mentioned I was looking forward to volunteering at the Chicago Marathon today. And it didn't happen, and I'll tell you why soon. I will also tell you that while I'm in the midst of recording this, I am following 37 people on the app. But first things first, on the Sunday episode, one of the things I do is I go over the guest episode that dropped last Tuesday. And that, of course, was Mark. And oh my gosh, so many of you reached out about how much you love that episode. If you haven't listened, you should definitely go back. But I'm about to put a couple spoilers in here. His bad swag, the teeny tiny little dog tag that he got at the end of that race. Holy cow. I mean, I do love swag, but like if I were to finish, I don't care what race it is, and you hand me like a little teeny tiny thing that looks like a token I'm going to put in a game. No, thank you. No. And the second thing was when I asked about like the famous person he would like to meet, he brought up the first man to ever do the marathon, and he joked that, well, I mean, as we know, the first person to ever do the marathon dropped and died at the end. And Mark's contention is that right before that happened, he screamed Nike, and that was the first ever product endorsement. And then I went on a little further. I'm going to give a shout out to Tom Hayes again, because when I ran into him this past Thursday, we were able to connect and laugh about the part I added. Mark, my guest, was very concerned that this poor gentleman had not received a medal. And I said, well, he didn't get medal, but he got a marble in the shape of a tombstone. All right. Today, we are going way back to 2012. According to my reconstructed race log, in June of 2012, I did my actual second official race. And for those of you listening, I'm using air quotes around official. And here's the thing. It was called the Streamwood Stride. Now, I did go down the rabbit hole a little bit, and I think it was still going as of 2022. I'm not sure, but I was actually able to find my race results from 2012, which is very unusual. Now, this race would never have been on the races that I would talk about. But there are a couple things that I really remember from this race. The first was when we started, we did our thing, and when we got to the end, there was some guy with like a stopwatch shouting out times. And there was somebody writing things down, and people were yelling bib numbers. And again, this was only my second organized, quote unquote, race. The first one, I'll talk about it on another episode, but I think that one actually had a timing mat. So it, of course, is only years later when I started to learn the difference between chip time and gun time did I realize that this was a pure gun time race, which, looking back now, 12 years later, that's kind of crazy. The other thing is, after the race, we all went inside, and they served us freshly made pancakes. Now, the race itself, according to the log I was able to find, only had 164 participants. But I will tell you, if anybody out there knows where I can finish a race and go have some hot pancakes, I'm in. I've been playing around for a long time of maybe making a race, a 5K. And I will tell you that hot pancakes and bacon at the end, all you can eat, perfection. But I'm going to remind you, this was 2012, and I had just started running. And I had done the 5K on the Saturday, which at that point in time meant my weekend was pretty much done. Like, I wasn't going to move. But the day after, Josh's grandparents, Grandpa Mike and Grandma Caroline, were coming up to Bussey Woods by us to do this vision walk. It was a 4-mile walk, 2 miles out and 2 miles back. And I'll never forget, and I have pictures of it, Josh was sporting his very first pair of Nikes. They were black with like a hot yellow-green swoosh. I'm only laughing because if you belong to Fast Track, you know the yellow-green debate. But Josh, who was all of 6, claimed he could do the 2 miles out, 2 miles in. And of course, he spent a fair amount of time on Paul, his father's shoulders. And we're going to call him Big Mike from now on. Big Mike on his shoulders. And I'm going to call him Big Mike because he has a son, Michael Jr. So try to make it easy, so you all can keep track. Now, again, I probably never would have shared those that weekend, except for the fact that this past Friday, 2 days ago, very unexpectedly, Big Mike died. And so there you go. That's why I'm not at the marathon today, because Josh's grandfather died a couple days ago. Now, while none of you knew him, there's a couple things I'd really like to share. And I may be kind of going off script a little bit, but, the memories I have of him all revolve around big laughters, big events, food, New Year's Day. We always went there for New Year's Day. Whenever he saw Josh, up until I think Josh was maybe like 8 or 9 and it stopped, he would constantly have Josh somewhere up in the air. When he was a little baby, we joked that Big Mike would spin him around, literally, and we would just wait for Josh to throw up on him, which he never did. Big Mike had 4 sons. Josh's dad, Paul. There's Mike Jr. and Anthony and Frank. And whenever everybody would get together, these family events were huge. Family was, a very big part of, I don't know how to end the sentence. I'm just going to end the sentence there. But most importantly, if you knew him, he, like me and like Paul and like other people, we appreciated what the use of humor can do in tough times. I don't actually have a memory of him not making light of something, making big jokes about things, Caroline telling him to stop doing that. But that's who he was. And, for this, for Josh, my son, and I'm not going to get into a lot of detail here because it's not that kind of story. But, Josh has been blessed to not go through something like this at the age of 18 yet. He just hasn't. And so he really doesn't know how he should feel. And I respect that. But I did, take him out yesterday to talk with him. And, I could see visually that we were talking about it, but he wasn't sure where he was on it. So I did what I always do, what my family always does, and what Big Mike would be proud of, and that was turn to humor. I reminded Josh at that moment that in our family at least, we are not big on euphemisms for death. Okay, this is where I don't mean to offend anyone, but if you know me, you know where this is going. Okay, my family doesn't like words other than death. Like, here's an example. Someone passed away. Passed where? Passed away. Where did they go? No. Gone to a better place. Okay, listen, I got to tell you that gone to a better place could be like change jobs or move to a different state. So that one never sat well with me. Is no longer with us. So, yeah, again, too many uses. Hey, why did John leave the party? I don't know, but he's no longer with us. Okay. Departed. That just means left. Okay, so you see where I'm going with this. And I had to go a little further. And again, Big Mike, I know you're going to appreciate where I'm going with this. Friends, I searched humorous euphemisms for dying, and I just couldn't. I have to share. They're at rest. See, again, I put a kid to sleep at school. They're sleeping, they're at rest, but they didn't. Okay. They ended their earthly career. For those of you who are listening and not watching the video, you should go back and watch the video and just watch my facial expressions as I'm saying some of these. Okay. Kicked the bucket. Now this one actually said that it was inspired by the fact that people make bucket lists of things they want to do in their life. And kicking the bucket means you have finished your bucket list. What? They went west. Now this one comes from World War I, and it refers to someone disappearing into the west, into the sunset. I have to say I kind of like that one. Obviously, I'm into sunrises, sunsets, and all that. I kind of like that one, but still. All right. I'm sorry for this one. They breathed their last breath. What? Who do you say that to? Who uses that? Hold on, there's two more. They took their final curtain call. No. Last one. They cashed in their chips. Oh, God help all those people in Vegas. Where'd they go? Hey, they went to cash in their chips. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear of their passing. No. All right. That's enough. It caused Josh to bring some humor into the situation and helped him relax a little bit, and that's really what it's all about. But I am going to wrap things up. Like I said, I am tracking 37 people running the marathon. The next episode to drop is going to be this coming Tuesday. And it actually features the cheerbrarian herself, Ashley Daigle, who I'm so excited to have on the podcast. So that's coming up Tuesday. But to sign out of today's episode, I would very much like to offer up a toast to Big Mike. And for that, I purposely went out and got one of his favorites from Portillo's. This is a chocolate cake shake, which I actually didn't know about before I met him one night. And he ordered one at some point when we were having Portillo's. And I was like, what is that? And he loved it. Now, he would normally get the large. I'd get the small. But I want to read you something that I found. I edited it a little bit, but I'm going to hold up my styrofoam Portillo's cup and tell you it's called Pardon Me for Not Getting Up. Oh dear, if you're reading this right now, I must have given up the ghost. I hope you can forgive me for being such a stiff and unwelcoming host. Just talk amongst yourself, my friends, and share a meal or two, for I am sure you will remember well how I love to eat with you. Don't worry about mourning me. I was never easy to offend. Feel free to share a story at my expense, and we'll all have a good laugh at the end. This one's for you, Big Mike. Everyone else, peace out, and I'll see you later. Okay, that's